Hey everyone, welcome back to the JumpCut Play YouTube channel. Today I've got my boy Biggie Bane back.
Being in the house.
Talk
This is
about
it.
Battlefield 2042. Although today, when I've been writing about it, I keep writing 2052 for some reason.
I
Don't know
had
why.
with the odd 2043 for some reason. Don't know, it just slips out there sometimes.
Oh, 2049, bit of Blade Runner.
We have Blade Runner as well.
Exactly.
What is the best 20-something number?
That's a poll that we need to do on the Twitter. But yeah, we'll talk about 2042 open beta. It closed on Saturday, I believe, and there's been some, let's say, mixed reviews on the beta so far.
Yeah.
I know you only just got to it like on the tail end of it, so break it down for me. What did you think?
It was weird. It was like I started off and I couldn't play it. Yeah, I had the access to the closed beta. I couldn't play it because the servers kept going down, which was obviously a bit of a nuisance. I managed to get one or two games during the last day of the closed beta. And it was a bit of a buggy mess, I gotta say. And I was really struggling to, like, I have a problem when I'm playing different shooters. You know, there's always an adjustment period when you're going between Apex, and then I've been playing Back 4 Blood this week, and then now onto Battlefield. So like, I felt like I just spent that time like really uncomfortable with the game, not quite sure how the mechanics were working, and it was buggy as anything. But then when I came back the next day, I think it was the Friday I played the most, was the first day of the open beta. It was far better for me. There was glitches there. There was like buggy stuff there. But I did actually really enjoy it. I started to get more of a feel for the gameplay. It started actually getting kills as well, which wasn't too bad. And yeah, you know, it's weird. I do enjoy it. But I'm not. I don't think that map was really the best to showcase the game. I think I needed something a bit more. You know, they talk about these. Well, for one, I didn't get a tornado.
I got 6 of them.
Bro, what? How? I didn't get a single tornado that whole time. So that was a bit annoying. I also felt like the rocket launching thing was like a bit like, look, the rocket's going. But like it didn't really, you know, it was supposed to be like a dynamic. They're talking about dynamic environmental events.
Yeah.
And I didn't really experience them, just my luck, I suppose. But what did you think about like the size of the map?
Size of the map.
I wasn't a huge fan of the size of the map. I thought it was not that it was too big. I just think there was a lot of like empty space that's like, you know, particularly when you had that area in front of the rocket, that's just like, to me, that was like, oh man, that's a massive space. That's a no-go though, because it's just a flat space with no cover. Yeah. So like, obviously, it's just unused space, really. But what did you think?
I mean,
what were your impressions of the actual beta as well?
Well, overall, I really liked it personally. I mean, compared to other betas out there, I thought it was less of a mess than some of those. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I can't deny it wasn't buggy as hell. I had a lot of screen tearing and weird visual popping glitches and stuff like that, but on the whole, I thought the gameplay was fairly solid. I think I was surprised there wasn't any like adaptive triggers. I thought that would have been a thing, but apparently not. That might come in the full game.
But the haptic rumble and stuff was still there. You know, when you're
when
running,
you're walking,
you could feel the footsteps and stuff. Yeah, so that did seem a bit odd to miss that out.
Because I was expecting like when I started playing it that there'd be a bit more kind of punch with the guns. The guns still felt okay when you shot them, but I think that would have added a bit more intensity to them. I like the attachment system that's new.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
That's amazing.
I'm curious to see how that'll develop in the full game, because obviously you've only got a few select attachments in each bit. I'm curious whether you can switch those out and have like your free preferred scopes or free preferred magazines there and whatnot.
Because I'm imagining this will be a lot more similar to Battlefield 4, where you have like a ton of like options in terms of sights and you know, different attachments. So I was kind of wondering the same, like if that would be something they would develop so that you could just mix and match them. But I love that system. I would use that an awful lot, and I liked how you could go, because that was something I always hated about Battlefield in many ways, is you have a weapon and it's very suited to one particular setting. So like I'm using a marksman's rifle from atop one of the buildings, and in the previous Battlefield games that's amazing for that, but as soon as I leave then that area, I'm at an immediate disadvantage. Now with this, you know, I was jumping off, and while I'm flying down my parachute, I'm switching out the sight, the stock, the magazine, and all of that, just like on the fly. I loved that. I thought that was a great inclusion, and I think that will really help when it's like, especially considering when you're going from, like, it's the maps are large enough that you're going from, there's different fights going on all the time, so you might be in a big open space and then you might go into a tight wee corridor of a building, and that just will work really well. And that's why it annoyed me, because I just felt like this map didn't really have a lot of those areas, to be honest, that really amplified that in a lot of ways. But yeah, no, I did like the customization system. Something though that I was a little disappointed in a way is the movement didn't feel like as good. It felt a bit more like it. Well, for one, the slide, I did kind of like the slide, because I love the first person slide. It was kind of like a mix between the Warzone and the Apex Legends slides. That it was a bit, you know, not crazy, but like it did slide a bit. I liked that, but there were some of the things that I really liked about Battlefield 5 in particular. You know, like you could lie on your back and your legs, you know, and you would crawl backwards. Like that stuff was really cool. And I felt like in Battlefield 5, there's a lot of like walls and windows and stuff that you were jumping in and out of, and you're always like, you know, you'd see your legs fly over, which is something I think's been around since Battlefield 3 at least. And those are really immersive qualities, and it just, those little details weren't there with this. Maybe, well, I say maybe, I think there's a big, there's a lot of bullshit flying around about this bit. I think in terms of like what's possible between when this was made and what will be out, because there's a lot of debate about this is months old, but then some people are saying actually in the code it's only a few weeks old. Personally, I think the whole like it's old thing is some like PR bullshit. I think, in my opinion, I think that it's an easy scapegoat. It's an easy way to give them a few more months or whatever until people start going like, oh no, this game's in this whatever state. That to me is really like the thing that annoys me. I'm excited for the game still. I enjoyed the game, but to have something that for so long has been like, we're ahead of schedule, we've delayed, you know, the game had an extra year development time, we're delaying Need for Speed just to bring people in to make this game. All of those things had me super hyped about this game. Like I was crazy hyped for it. And now seeing this, and you're like, you know, they've delayed the game, and the 3-week delay is getting some major Cyberpunk vibes about it, because it doesn't seem like a substantial enough of a delay to warrant anything really. And you know, they've not been really great with the communication. They'll start to up it a little bit now, but all of that just it does disappoint me in a way. And the beta was kind of representative of that, just because of the state of it. But like, I don't know.
See,
I wasn't as blown away by it as I was really hoping I would be, because this has Battlefield 2042 was my most anticipated game this year before it was even announced, just because of all of the wee rumblings I'd heard about it. And now that it's finally coming out, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that now.
Yeah. I mean, the optimist in me hopes that this beta is as old as some people are saying it is. But we've been in this position before with other games. Battlefield has been in this position before as a franchise. So I don't know. I don't want it to be a repeat of other games in the franchise. I mean, I didn't buy Battlefield 5 on launch, but I heard it was an absolute mess when it did launch. I don't want this to be repeating history. But anything is possible, unfortunately.
I think that like their focus and post-launch support with this game will be its saving grace, because Battlefield launched in a bit of a buggy state, And then when it fixed out, I think it's like a decent base experience. I actually really like Battlefield 5. But at the same time, like people, if it's not ready at launch, people go, oh, this game, I'm not playing it, whatever. And then you'd have to come back to it later on to find it in a better state. But the problem with Battlefield 5 is it really didn't have the content to draw people back. And then, because we've seen that a million times with like games that have rubbish launches and then they build their way up and now have passionate communities.
Yeah,
that could be the saving grace for 2042, because they're saying it's the most extensive post-launch support they've ever had. They're talking about, you know, in-game events, new maps. We're getting portal maps with each season supposedly. We'll have new operators like Rainbow Six Siege does. So all of this stuff, like, that's great. And you know, you have big battle passes and like that could really help it. So I think even if it has a rubbish launch, which I'm kind of half expecting, like it will come around eventually. I'm hoping. But
on the map, when I'm thinking about it, like it's weird because I think it's a good map, but when I think about it a bit more in depth, it feels like the main area with the two silos and the tarmac is kind of like an expanded team deathmatch map, if you get me. It feels like it's just a big team deathmatch map, and then everything around it, all the different little bases and stuff, it's kind of nothing. It's just kind of padding it out.
Kind of just like fields of people running towards those areas.
Like some of the other Battlefield games, like even Battlefield Hardlines had huge maps. It has that huge Miami map with the mansion in the middle and the boats and everything around it. That doesn't feel like it's like not on purpose. It feels like there's something to it and you can explore it, whereas in this it's just like you've got the two silos, the big skyscraper building where you just get absolutely obliterated by helicopters and jets if you're on top of it.
Man, the helicopters were crazy good. Like where have those guys been able to put in the time to like, it was crazy how pinpoint some of the helicopters were.
I can't, it's a big thing with me on Battlefield vehicles. Like cars are fine, but like aerial vehicles, I still struggle. Like,
oh, I can't do it.
The left and right, like, because it's not as simple as just like holding R2 down and then just using left analog to go wherever you want. It's like you have to strafe and aim and twist and turn and everything. It's so complicated. But regardless of that, if you went on top of that building, my mic's about to fall, saved it, you'd get obliterated, which it's kind of fun in the sense where you've got the challenge and you're kind of trying to work with your team to take hold of that position. But then in a game like Battlefield, which is a big complaint I get, like I've seen with people, like it's just like you spawn and you die, you spawn and you die, or you spawn, you run for 10 minutes across a huge map, and then you die and you repeat the process. And I think that's probably one of the big complaints that I saw with this map as well. I feel like if they contained it to that smaller area, it might have been more well received.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of issue that they might face by going, you know, because everyone looks at the 128 players and goes, "Oh wow, that's amazing." Yeah. I'm guilty for it as well. But at the same, like, you know, that might not be good. That maybe Battlefield is, in previous Battlefield games, they've really found the balance of like the exact right map size and the exact right player count. Now, you know, it's hard, you know, if you get 64 other people that are trying to kill you, they can come from anywhere. And the thing is, the map's large enough for you to basically always be in a position where someone could come from anywhere, which might ruin the experience somewhat. I'm not really sure. Like, I didn't get the impression that people were really playing in like teams when I was playing it. It was more just like everyone knew where the hub areas were. Something that I despise, right? Because as a big medic player in Battlefield, the medic, oh, well, for one, actual reviving is shockingly difficult because it's mapped to the same button as reload. The like reload and pick up the weapon. So you go up to a person 9 times out of 10 trying to revive them, you're actually just going to pick up their weapon rather than revive them.
Yeah,
and it's such a finicky little thing, and it's hard to see and all this. It's just really stupid. But secondly, with that is that the I've forgotten her name. It's like something with an F. The medic operator though had a weapon that could shoot and heal people from afar. That did not work. That did not work for me. I shot down like people in my squad many times and it just never worked. So that'll be something I'd imagine be fixed. I will say though, I love the grapple. I
love the
absolutely
grapple too.
grapple.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I did enjoy about the bit. I mean, there's another 6 or so operators or specialists, as they call it in Battlefield, to come on the full game, and we got a taste of them with 4 of them here. It's cool that you can customize the loadouts in way more depth than you could in any other Battlefield game. Although I've seen that's a point of contention where people prefer the kind of traditional loadout where everything's regimented. Yeah. But I don't know, I like that you can change your abilities, but then still tweak the weapons, tweak your tacticals, and kind of make like a really custom class.
I think it'll really stand the test of time, and I think like to see how people react to this, because I was like happy when I heard about it to start when they said they were ditching the class system in favor of this, but at the same time it did force me and like to experiment with different weapons and different play styles when I was playing, particularly Battlefield 5, because they put a real emphasis on the class system, which is the opposite of this. So it is a bit weird, and I think it takes away a little bit of the identity of Battlefield, which is a shame. And I think that's the real potential. I think they're looking at a lot of different games, particularly like the biggest franchises. They're looking at them and going like, what are they doing right? How can we do it? Because Battlefield has always been the underdog out of all the shooters. Battlefield has been the one that's like, yeah, it's a top contender, but it's always second place, it's always third place or whatever. And they've had the trouble with all the thingy trouble launches. But I'm worried in a way that this might be their best attempt at having the top spot, but they kind of lose. They've sold their soul in the process.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
By doing it. But we'll just need to see. I mean, I'll be reviewing it. So I would have bought it anyway. I'll still be buying it. So I'm looking forward to it. But it just, if you went back to me when this first got announced, I was losing my mind. I think there's even a JumpCut article out there of me saying, like, just gushing about this game and how excited I was about it. But now I'm just, I don't know, I'm kind of like, well, I'll wait and see what happens with it. Like, I'll still buy it, but I'll wait and see. Although I do say, I think the beta needed an extra day. It needed that Sunday. Because
I thought it was really odd it ended on a Saturday night, because I thought it was going to end on like the Sunday or the Monday. It
did technically end on Sunday. It ended at like 8 a.m, sorry, 8 a.m, which I thought was a bit weird, because like I got up on Sunday and I was like, I'd really fancy to play a wee bit of Battlefield. I was like, nah. So
I'm being funny. Unless I'm at work, I'm not awake at 8 a.m. on a Sunday to get up and play Battlefield.
Yeah, exactly. You're not committed enough, mate. Come on.
I'll tell you what, I was committed when it started because I was already awake. I woke up at like 6:30 in the morning and I'm like, oh, the Battlefield beta's out. Let's get it downloaded. So I snuck in a few cheeky games.
See, that's true commitment there.
Do you think, it's highly unlikely, but do you think there'll be another beta before it launches?
With this, I mean, what they got? What date is it today?
A couple of weeks.
It's
just over a month.
5 weeks. 5 weeks. 5 weeks today, actually.
The only reason I say that is if they said that this beta was however many months old, it would make me think, do they want to give people another refined taste just before it drops?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to believe that. I'd like to see it, but I know for a fact it's not going to happen, because that's what I'm saying. This beta is not as old as they're trying to make it out to be. That it's
Oh, I hope
maybe I don't know like how game development works, right? But to me, my initial impression when I heard that and I saw, what was happening with the game, and then you see like them going, oh well, this is actually old, whatever. That just immediately to me kind of screams like, I don't know if that actually is, mate. I don't know if that actually is, because it does. Well, I mean, we've been lied to so many times about that. I mean, literally me and Kyle had a whole thing, a whole retroactive reviews thing based on the fact that games companies lie to us so often that why should we believe something like this when they say, don't worry, it's actually just, this is the case, So yeah, Yeah.
Don't know whether this is a feature that'll be in the game, because obviously for the PS4 versions and whatnot, that generation of console, they're gonna. I think it's only 64 player, and there's some other drawbacks as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have an option on the next gen version to play with less people. If it is too chaotic for some, then why not have it with an option where you can do 32 or 64 or whatever? I highly doubt they will do that, but
yeah, because I feel like in a way that's them admitting that maybe some people won't like the new direction.
Well, that's like they're trying to sell that as like the USP for this game. Like, oh, there's 128 players and it's the biggest Battlefield game ever, even though a game called Mag on the PS3 came out and that had 128 players. But anyway. Good old Mag.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, mate, you never played Mag?
Nah, I wasn't much of a PS3 guy. I was.
It was like one of the big like launch titles of the PS3. It was. Nah. It's by who was it by? I'm sure it had like some of the people who made Black behind it. I'm sure of it. I could be wrong. What? Oh, come on, man.
I'm
googling it. Mag PS3. I could be wrong. Mate, on Wikipedia it says Mag received an award from the Guinness Book of World Records on most players in a console FPS with 256 players.
250. Step up, Battlefield.
256. It launched in 2010, and then its servers were shut down 4 years later.
That's a big goof. Do you have you had some reactions from?
I do indeed. Let's go have a look. So on Twitter, we asked people what they thought of the beta. First off, we have JumpCut Online's co-founder Nick Deal. He said, "I very carefully considered cancelling my pre-order off the back of this beta." And Nick's a very big Battlefield boy, so that's strong words coming from him. We responded to him on the account and said, "Who hurt you?" He said, "Dice."
Oh wow. That's so harsh.
We also have from Drew. He says, "I really wanted it to be good, but unfortunately I was really underwhelmed. It just didn't feel great to play on console. Also, as somebody who was lucky enough to who has a PS5, I wasn't able to squad up with my mates on PS4. Yeah, there's no cross-gen as of yet. Apparently it's coming to the game on launch, but Chivalry 2 was also supposed to have cross-play on launch. Remember that, Chestnut?
Yeah, that especially with the varying types, it might be a bit of an awkward thing for them to include, maybe. I think I feel like I'm too committed to getting it enough that I would, like, if I would, if I was going to cancel pre-order. I'm also one of the types where if like someone, I wasn't going to see Free Guy at the cinema, but then people told me it was actually good, and I went, that can't be right. Odd comparison. I've got to go and see that. So like if for me, see that like if Battlefield is going to be bad, if Battlefield's like what this or that, like it makes me want. I would check it out all the more, like when it comes to picking it up on launch, just because like I want to be there on the day to see what it's like and make up the decision for myself. But I mean, that's just me. I know why you wouldn't. Because obviously it's a lot of money. I just happen to be one of those guys with like no other hobbies other than buying games. So
well, I specifically remember you when we covered E3 for Play after the like cinematic trailer dropped. You put in the chat, "Oh mate, I'm getting Ultimate Edition day one."
I probably mate, if I wasn't getting a review code, I would 100% still be getting the Ultimate Edition. I don't care. I will. Stacks. There's very few, there's a few games I'm very reserved with like the money that I would like to spend on certain games. But when it comes to like a few titles, I was the same with like The Last of Us. You can see my wee thing in the back there. Mm-hmm. That is like one of the games I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to spend like 180 quid in this. So that's the case with Battlefield. But it's so I mean, are you going to pick it up?
Oh, we're going to pick it up. Yeah. I think I'm on board. Even though as buggy as it was and the issues it might have had, I think the core gameplay sold me enough that I would get it.
I think, yeah, 100. Like, I think the base of a good experience, the foundations are there for this to be a really great game. I think I personally wouldn't have minded if it was pushed back to like March or something next year. I think I would have been cool with that to get a more polished experience. But I think we will get there. They're not gonna, it's not like Cyberpunk where like it's gonna launch and then it's just like you don't hear shit about the game for X amount of time.
Yeah.
I think like EA and DICE have put in enough money into this. This is one of their biggest franchises. They need this to work, so they're going to put in the time to make sure it is in a better state as soon as they can. So even with that, I'm weird though. I feel like I get angry at it, but then at the same time, like someone else starts ripping into Battlefield, I'm like, nah, but I know what you mean. Not you, mate.
Tom simply replied with a gif of Kevin from The Office, and it says, "It's bad. It's really bad. It's like eating a hot circle of garbage." That's what he put. And then Jeff,
right?
And Jeff put, "Really wanted to love it, but came away feeling very met on it. Didn't run very well on PS5, and beside the weather effects, which ruled, the maps felt sort of bland." Yeah, I see where it's coming from, but like in my experience of the bit, I had a good time with it, so it's hard for me to be as critical, even though I know there's glaring issues with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think any of like the glitchy stuff outside of the medic gun. I don't think any of that actually like properly affected my gameplay. You're looking at stuff and like textures were dropping in and out, and you'd have the odd flicker, like a black thing or something like that. Like that, it's annoying. I don't want it in my games, but at the same time, I wasn't going like, I can't play this because of that. There just was a kind of general roughness to it. I think I felt like that was really the case with the graphics, very much I liked it, but it just kind of felt like it was like it was like the game itself was struggling to keep you attached to the rope. I think that's going to be it. I've already seen compilations of people like grappling onto the underside of one of the jets, flipping up into the air, and then pulling out the rocket launcher and taking it out. So it's going to be nice, and it had, I gotta say, like, it still did have those moments where I'm running around and all of a sudden a jet just smashes down in front of me and the fire blares and all this, and like that is like the moments that I want from a Battlefield game, and those are still there. And I think give it a wee bit of time. Hopefully the beta is old, and we're gonna get those moments. I'm just looking forward to something a bit more. I'm hoping that the maps can just sell that whole dynamic thing that they were going on about, because so far like that map there just wasn't doing it for me. And I gotta say, out of all the maps that I've seen like through gameplay or whatever, like that is the one I was least looking forward to anyway.
Yeah,
so it feels like an odd choice to include it, but
I mean it feels, from not that I'm knowledgeable as a developer of games, but it feels like that would be the map a developer would choose to buy. This is the testing platform.
Yeah.
This is the base area to test the core functionality of what this game is going to be about. Where, as me having seen the trailers and whatnot, from like a spectacle point of view, I would have liked to have played the map like the Shanghai map with the helicopters weaving through the skyscrapers, and you've got the quads on top of them as well. I feel like from a spectacle point of view, that should have been the map we should have experienced to get the first proper taste of this game, but unfortunately we just got rocket silos, man. Rocket silos, and no tornadoes for you, but 6 tornadoes for me.
That is a joke. Also, it did annoy me because I once went on a tour of like a rocket launch place, and they said there's a large perimeter around where the rocket goes off, because if it goes off and anyone's within that perimeter, you will immediately combust, pretty much. And you get like 128 dudes just chilling at the bottom.
So what you're trying to say
is
blast. Battlefield 2042 not realistic.
Not realistic, mate.
You heard it here first. I think you need to send DICE an email.
I should.
Look, they've got 5 weeks to implement that change into the game.
Instantly, everyone insta-dies if they're within that area.
Well, I thought it was odd. Just like on a random tangent, like when it goes off, there's all the smoke and extreme like wind pressure. You would have thought that you'd get knocked back, like at least if you're in radius of it. But no, you just get covered in smoke. Apparently,
just a wee bit of a rumble in the controllers.
That's all it is. Bit of haptic feedback. There you go.
That's all you feel really when a rocket goes off next to you. Just a wee rumble in the controllers.
So, consensus then to end. I know that you'll be getting it, but I will ask you again. Are you getting Battlefield 2042 on launch?
I'll get it. I'm way more skeptical now than I was before, but I think the base experience is there, and eventually we'll get the Battlefield that we're looking for, which isn't an ideal situation. It's not the one everyone wanted, but it's the situation we seem to be in. But as a Battlefield fan, I'm still on board. I'm still going to be getting this game.
Yeah, I'm going to get it too. I mean, just like to cap it off, I think if they learned anything from their experience with Star Wars Battlefront 2, it's DICE as well. I think it was DICE that handled it, or was it Criterion? I feel like it was DICE.
Battlefront 2,
Let me
said.
Give it a quick Google. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Not the PS2 one. It was DICE, yeah. That game had an awful launch, and now it's a game that I put quite a considerable amount of hours into because they've improved it post-launch. I hope they've learned from that experience, and we just get a good game on November 19th. That's all I want. Just give me a good game.
Yeah.
That's all I want in this day and age of the game industry. Just a good game. That's all I want.
We'll get it.
Quote me on
one
that.
day.
You can quote.
Yeah.
Good
Put
game.
that in your little profile bio on the actual
Put
website.
it on my LinkedIn. Games journalist that wishes to play a good game. Well, that's been us for the JumpCut Play YouTube channel. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at _JumpCutPlay. Oh, sorry, JumpCut_play. I'm thinking of a different account there.
Oh wow.
Sorry.
Bloody professionalism has just went out the window.
I know. Not reputable anymore. But there will be a pop-up on the screen. Go follow us there and tune in. What will the next YouTube video be? I
am sifting between either doing a video about Prey or a video about the Nintendo Switch OLED, so it's one or the other.
All right. He's already got it.
I've already got a Nintendo Switch OLED, just to let you know.
I can't believe you put yesterday in the chat like, yeah, I might get it. Today it's like, yeah, I got it, innit?
And literally the thing as well, I'd messaged someone else and I'd looked to let them know that I got it, and I looked about probably 6 messages back and I was like, how's the Switch OLED? I'm definitely not getting it, but I'm just curious. Those exact words. And then about 3 days later, I'm sitting here with one. The FOMO is too strong for me. I just see people going like, this is really good. Oh, these are, and I'm just like, I need it. So I got it. And yeah, I might do a video on that. So keep your eyes out for the channel. Like and subscribe. Check out our previous content. If you're wondering about lies in the industry, check out our retroactive reviews series, which me and Kyle done. We were talking about games that were advertised as one thing and came out as another, and talk about how they've changed, how they launched, and all these sort of things. It's pretty fun. And also Kyle showed me this abomination. It was what was it called? Milo. That was pretty funny.
For the Kinect.
Yeah.
What? He's grabbing the paper through the screen.
That somewhat blew my mind.
That's next level immersion, that pal.
Just to get get everyone's reaction to that next time.
Oh dear. Another tangent as always. Right.
Usual.
We'll see you next time, guys. Stay safe. And Aaron has a Switch. Can't believe it.
I got Switch.